All right, welcome everybody to another Doomsday's Krypt live stream. Tonight we got Eash, writer, artist for a comic I really enjoy. It was something I didn't really expect to love as much as I did, and he's nice enough to come on tonight. I'm just waiting for him to get here. Called Captain Love, and this is the first book, The Hero of the Cleansing. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Art is fantastic, and I'm really excited to talk to Drew. Fantastic artist, like I said. The writing in this story is incredible. It's got a lot of Han Solo to it, and it's something a little different for us to read, talk about tonight. This was the first book, Captain Love, Rise of the Pirate King. Let me find something that we can look at here that's not spoiler, and it's a graphic book. Hey, what's up, Rick? How you doing, man? I'm really excited about this. I love how it's full color art. Incredible in this book. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, you're not home. All right. Well, are you on your way home, Fourscore, or you're not sure yet? Because I can run the trailer later. I brought down the computer here. I just don't know how to do it, which I should be able to learn. I have to learn how to do it, but I figured out something that I could bring the computer down here and enjoy. All right, we got a Facebook person here. Let me hop on the Facebook stream, see what it is. Nothing too much. We're just waiting for Drew now. I'm going to message him on Twitter if I got this. Hold on. Might have messaged me too. He might even have, hopefully he didn't cancel, but if he did, we'll do another live stream. Just sit here and hang out. Got some really cool big news coming for Doomsday's Krypt. Some amazing things in the work. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Drew Eash is here. Very excited to have him.
Hey there.
Hey, what's going on, Drew? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Excuse the sunglasses, but they're prescription. And apparently, since I work on the computer all day, I got sensitive eyes to light. So.
I've had eye pain and stuff and sensitive eyes, so I totally feel your pain. I wear contacts and I tend to overwear them sometimes. It can be a very painful thing.
I didn't have this problem before, but I'm getting old. So, and I've been doing coding for 20 years now, I guess, something like that. So, my staring at code from across the desk tends to wear out the eyes. So, plus, computer screens, that, and the sunlight gets me too. If I spend too much time in the sun, I get like it's kind of almost like this like blindness effect. But it's nothing big. It's just that it's just old age. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'll trust you. I'm 46, or I don't even remember anymore. I think I turned 47 this year.
You think you turned 47? You don't remember?
I think so. I don't even remember anymore, man. I don't even try to pay attention. My birthday is just another day. I try to ignore it. So I feel you on the eyes going. Like I try to play PS4, some games with my kid and stuff, and I'm like an old man now. Just no reactions, bad sight.
Oh, I mean, I squint hard from this distance without my glasses, and then and I worked without glasses for years. And in fact, I had to get glasses this last year because I was like leaning way into my computer screen just to like see what was going on, and yeah, that's just not cool. Although I did hear you mention that telling people that I'm the artist of Captain Love, which sadly I am not Andrea Bormita.
You're not the artist, huh?
No,
I apologize for that. For some reason, I thought you were.
It's because it's Andrea Bormita is illustrations. Yeah, it says in the.
So once again, I'm wrong.
But
I got my Captain Love down here. It's been a little minute since I read it, and I was excited. Like it's something. It's one of those books that I did not expect, and I'm like I kept seeing you on some shows, and you talk about it, and then the theme song. And I'm hoping my friend Mike, he's the one who was gonna set up the link so I could play your catchy tune that you have, your promo tune. I don't know if you know how to do it from where you are. If we could
Yeah,
send it.
actually, of course I do. Yeah,
And
you know, it's just about getting the link and on the share screen. You know, like
okay.
if you have like Chrome, you just get it in the tab and then you play it, and you got to do the. It's actually fairly
Well, the
simple.
Doomsday Krypt's down in the basement. I finally got a computer that works down here, a laptop to work down here, and I just haven't had time to mess around with it yet. So I'm just comfortable doing everything. I pretty much turn on the phone and that's it. I usually don't have somebody with a pretty cool trailer, but it will definitely add to the channel for me.
Well, that's nice. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm super excited.
I no,
Really,
you know, you've been on my radar since you've been, you know, like getting the book. I'm glad you enjoy it so much, man. So that makes me happy to hear. You
dude,
know,
I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
I wish I was able to devote more time to promoting it because it's not doing nearly as good as it should be, in my opinion. But
I've
and you know,
I've I've gotten a few things from some of the campaigns, and honestly, a lot of them have disappointed me. I won't, call any out. And Captain Love, I was like, for $15, let me check this out. It sounds like Han Solo, Buck Rogers, which is exactly what it is. It's you could see all the influence from it. And I read it and I loved it. I got the book and the volume one, uh, Hero of the Cleansing,
yeah.
and I loved it. And the art's amazing. The story's so much fun. It took me back to my youth because I think we're probably similar, pretty close enough in age.
Yeah, I'm a couple 3 years older than you, but yeah, same supposed
But
to
we
age.
grew up with Buck Rogers, Han Solo,
Yeah.
the space cowboy kind of deal. And obviously, Captain Love's based on you. You even got the ponytail and everything, right?
Well, actually, he's not based on me. It's a funny story. So, all right.
Look
So,
wise.
okay, I'll share. The way that it all started was a long time ago. You know, YouTube was actually a profitable source for people who made entertainment. And I worked on a lot of projects with different YouTube entertainers. And one of the things that I also had my own YouTube channel that was a comedy channel. And I was doing short little 3 to 5 minutes, joke skits, you know what I mean? Just like little fast punchline stuff, you know what I mean? And I was making probably about $2,000 in advertising dollars off of that. And then they had what's called the adpocalypse, and that 2,000 a month went down to 50 a month, and it just wasn't worth the effort to make the comedy videos. And then they changed their algorithm a bunch of ways, and the videos that were like less than 10 minutes were like less popular for them to promote. So it just became like this, like, okay, well, my whole channel is just not YouTube friendly anymore. So I decided, okay, you know what? If I'm going to make videos, I'm going to make something that's going to be fun to do so that I don't have to worry about actually making profit on it. Comedy was fun, but, it still was work. I mean, it's like you still have to come up with a lot of stuff, and then you'd have to do it every week. And it was just, I was like, no, I just don't want to do that anymore if I'm not going to make any money at it. So then I wrote what was supposed to be a 15-minute to 30-minute in length story based on all my favorite sci-fi tropes. I basically asked myself, what would I want to do if I was to act in a sci-fi movie? If I could pick out like what kind of sci-fi fantasy I would want to personally dig and live, right? And so I wrote the Captain Love character because, my channel name is The Drew Love, right? So I did write the Captain Love character for myself to play as something just for fun to make myself a low budget sci-fi movie. So a lot of the stuff that's in there is actually based on what would be a restricted budget, which also kind of shaped the way the whole world worked. Well, I have a corporation, and my business partner in the corporation is he read what I had, and he's all like, "Now you got to write this feature length, and it be for like a professional actor and all this. This is too good. This is too great of an idea. You have to turn this into something real." And I'm like, okay. So then I basically, wrote a full length movie script, and we were going to shop the script. So I went and got a illustrator to do, the storyboards. And while we were working on storyboards, he was all like, you haven't told the backstory of Captain Love in your script. I mean, it's like, I'm curious what's going on. So I explained to him what the backstory was. And he's all like, no, dude, you have to make a graphic novel of that. Obviously he wanted to be the illustrator on it, and he actually was the first illustrator, but he had a drug problem and only got halfway through it. So I had to actually find a new illustrator.
I bet. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Captain Love has had a hard run at it. You know what I mean? I love the project. I love the character. I mean, it's obviously all my favorite things. You know what I mean? So of course I dig it. And I would like to see him become a movie or a cartoon. I would like to see him, actually, it's like he's designed really well for what would be a great video game, because Spade would exist in like an overlay that they could talk to, and basically all the stuff that he would get himself into is stuff that it would work great in like a video game format. So I look forward to the opportunity to turn him into a video game someday. Not like a Nintendo,
Maybe a Telltale game style where it's story driven.
Well, kind of. Okay, so like my favorite video game to date, right, was the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell series.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So something like that, but instead of it being oversight where you look at him, which I guess you could do, but the problem is that then the overlay with Spade wouldn't be as cool. So I'm thinking more like the Dune, Doom layout. You know what I mean? With where you only have the rifle, you can't see your character. You can only see what comes up rifle wise. You know what I mean?
Duke Nukem. I could see a Duke Nukem style game with what you're doing, where there's a lot of comedy. And I don't know if you know anything about the Duke Nukem games. I didn't play a lot of it.
I have not played the Duke Nukem games, but I have heard about them.
Yeah, they're definitely it definitely would fit a style of what you're doing, and it's basically a Doom style game too.
Yeah, well, the coolest thing about a Captain Love video game is it wouldn't be single faceted, right? So like there would be Captain Love, being able to fight, shoot, you know what I mean? In situations, there would also be decision making buttons to push. Which one's going to kill him? You know what I mean? It's like,
there's so much fun stuff you could do with that. Like I asked you to come on because I absolutely love the story of Captain Love, and yes, Chad, it's definitely got. I'm sure Drew will agree. Flash Gordon inspiration also.
Yeah, actually, Flash Gordon was one of the comics I often read as a child. So Flash Gordon, major influence both in comic series and the Sam Jones movie. Not so much the black and white film. I've watched the old series and that kind of stuff. I've seen them, but I don't really see those versions of Flash Gordon being influential in the Captain Love character. The Sam Jones character a little bit, but more the feel of the Flash Gordon Sam Jones movie. You know what I mean? Is what moved over. You know what I mean? The whole kind of, I don't know, the aesthetic. You know what I mean? In my mind is kind of what I feel like transferred. To some degree.
He definitely had the look.
Yeah, and then there's a little bit of attitude and a little bit of look. Here's one thing that people don't pick up. A few people have, but you guys have seen Big Trouble in Little China, right?
Yes, one of my favorite John Carpenter films.
Right. So the Jack Burton character obviously is an influence, even though it's not like a regular sci-fi thing. But he is a trucker, so the space trucker does kind of connect right there. Also, the Han Solo, aspect of it, him being a little bit of a scoundrel, but not, you know what I mean? But really big-hearted, And then there's stuff that didn't come from any existing series, like the him being cursed by a voodoo princess that he may or may not be able to live forever. That's a completely original, not stolen from anything, concept about it.
There's a lot of questions. I'm looking forward to book 3. It's been a little bit since I've read them, but I absolutely loved it. And I remember I spoke to you a little bit about chapter 3 some months ago after I read part 2, because I was like, I really loved it. I'm not even just saying it. I had to have you come on and talk about this because it does deserve the love. It does deserve the love it deserves. I mean, it is a great story, man. Like I said, there's things I've gotten on campaigns, but a $15 book, I don't know how you're doing it. And the quality of it.
Let me tell you, it's not easy. I made promises to stick to this pricing structure and method for the entire Rise of the Pirate King book, the chapter series. I don't even know how to phrase it, because I actually am writing 6 chapter arcs now, because that's how I want to format them, to be, 24 to 32 page chapters and 6 per graphic novel, compressed. So basically, because more or less the floppy market is only good for really big IPs. However, I can't afford to sit around and make everybody wait a bunch of years, you know what I mean, to get a 165 page graphic novel. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of expense. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing: if you've noticed, I pay for all the artwork and coloring and all that kind of stuff. It's all paid for before I even launch my campaign. It's done. So it's like there's no risk. You know what I mean? Because I'm on my 4th campaign. I obviously have fulfilled the first 3. It's
obviously a thing of passion. You believe in it. And it is. It's one of those stories that really capture me. You got characters that are in depth. Spade. It doesn't matter. It's not just Captain Love, who's a great character, and there's a lot of questions left about. You basically, your theme song's great, so catchy, but it really is a great narration, a breakdown of what this is and what you're going into.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'd seen you around. The song hooked me. I gotta at least check it out. I can't go wrong for $15. Let me read it, see what happens. And I wound up reading it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. This takes me back to the old 80s shows where, like you said, Scoundrel. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got space travel. You got your sci-fi.
And then it's got the Buck Rogers lady man aspect.
Yeah. He's definitely a ladies man. I love that aspect, and he's loves to hit the bar and pick up the ladies. He's a man's man kind of deal. He is.
So that Madam Mary she was introduced in the phone call in chapter 2, which you have, right? You have chapter 2.
I got chapter 1, chapter 2, and the hero of cleansing.
Right. So you got all 3.
I got everything.
Yeah. And so
I actually got 2. I think issue 1s.
Awesome. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love it. I had to support it, and when issue 2 was coming out, I was like, great.
Well, let me tell you.
I heard issue 3 was coming, and I've been so busy with so many things. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, the campaign's going on.
I'm never doing a second run of these floppies, and these floppies are, someday when Captain Love is 20 or 30 years old as a series, those floppies are going to be super valuable because comic books are going to be in a completely different world, and so you know what I mean. These are designed to be collector's items. You know what I mean?
I keep them in my cardboard. I took one out just so I could read it today, but you do a lot with what you send. You got the bookmark in there. You got the trading card in there. The mini poster. I don't know. I personally love it. The story grabbed me right away.
I'm so glad to hear that.
When I picked up, and I think I started with Hero of the Cleansing. Like that was the first one I read because I wasn't sure which one to read first. That was the only confusion I had in it. Which should I read first? Issue 1 or the Hero of the Cleansing?
See, technically, I kind of designed it to where you could read chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 and not need Hero of the Cleansing, but wonder what the hell is that the stuff they're talking about. You know what I mean? It's like, what is this stuff? You could follow the story, but you're like, okay, but I want more. I want the backstory. So it does exist as, you know.
Well, that's what you told me is I didn't need Hero of the Cleansing, but it's like, all right, this guy's doing it $15, ships it too. Yeah, why not support it? I want to check it out. It looks cool. I love the art that you've shown. I love the theme song, like you said, and I got nose deep in it. And the art, the characters, the story. They don't make this stuff, this kind of storyline anymore, and that's what I loved about it. It took me back to being a kid and having fun, and I mean, I laughed at with the book. I love Spade. I love the banter between Spade, which is an AI character, but the AI is very human. You could tell there's definitely love. She gets jealous of Captain Love, and just the way. I love that character too. And you have a cosplayer who's playing her. I saw her and she's spot on.
Yeah,
Was
actually,
she
yeah,
the
cosplayer,
like the girl,
yeah,
or was that one of those things where
okay,
you base
so
the character on her looks?
So the girl who cosplayed, she actually didn't cosplay Spade. She cosplayed the Queen of Venus.
I mean, the Queen. I'm sorry.
Right. But she does the voiceover of Spade in the video Who is Captain Love, narrated by Spade. She does the voice of that. And she's actually like one of my very best friends. Her name is Sparkle Susan. She does the Everything Sparkle show. It's an actual like television show on cable here, public access cable here locally. And then it's also on like Roku and Apple TV and Amazon Fire TV and Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know, I mean, it's broadcast like all these different platforms. And it's actually, it actually has a sponsor, and we're trying to get more sponsors, and what I mean. It's another labor of love that actually has a little bit of income on it, but not like enough yet to like, well, we can start doing this full time. You know what I mean? No, but
I think people need to read this and check it out, man. It's that good, dude. It really is. Like I said, I went in, I wasn't sure, and I got to be honest. There's been some campaigns I backed, and I was really excited to check it out and read it, and I was just so disappointed. And then Captain Love comes along and changes all that. It's like the price point, the quality of the book. I love that it's color inside. I love the art, the coloring, and you are really talented at. And one of the hard things that can for anybody to do is dialogue and really make it work and flow evenly without feeling clunky.
Thank you.
You've mastered it, dude. I mean, in writing comedy, it's not easy. Mm-hmm. Like you said, comedy is probably the hardest thing you can do, and that whole thing pulls it off. I mean, I found myself chuckling while I'm reading that book.
That's great. Because I mean, literally, you're basically my target audience anyway, because you're about the same age as me, and you're a guy. I mean, literally, that's because I mean, like I said, I invented hello, Chris. I invented the Captain Love character, for myself. You know what I mean? Like what I would like, what I would dream of myself doing if I was some sci-fi hero, you know what I mean? Or not even hero, just, character. If I would, it's so funny how it developed.
Love is definitely based on you. I mean, there's a lot of similarities in it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the
ponytail. I think that's it too. That's long hairs, man.
Yeah, well, the ponytail, the braid is actually based off of my braid. Yes, yeah. That is true. And the reason why is because when I wrote the first part of the script, I mentioned the braid in the script a couple of times. And so, and then when the guy was doing the storyboards, you know what I mean? I told him that I wanted Captain Love to look like James Dean. And he gave him James Dean with a ponytail and flyaways, because I had flyaways in my hair a little bit, but it was more to give it that, like, that original James Deany kind of thing. So it's like it's so even though the character looks a little bit like me, and originally I wrote him for myself in a movie, it's not a self-insert. I mean, I mean, I'm not a
It just
trucker.
worked out that way. It
It
just
just,
kind of worked out that way.
yeah, it's, well, the how many comic book protagonists, I mean, yeah, protagonists, you know, the heroes actually have a long ponytail that if they unbraided it, it would come down all, you know.
None. I think you've had. I mean, if I remember right, there's a few scenes where he's unbraided, right?
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
there is.
said, it said a little bit. I reached out to you, and you're like, "Oh, I'll be around tomorrow. Let's do this." So I even got it out. I had to look for because I got so much stuff, and I've been traveling a lot with conventions and whatnot, and
Yeah, so
I knew I had it somewhere.
in the first book, people don't know, and no one's even really noticed it that or mentioned it anyway. In the Hero of the Cleansing, right? Um, he actually has a moment like that. He lets his hair down for the girl he's having the freak show with. You know what I mean? The doc girl,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? Right. The nudie part that we can't show.
Right.
Um, but if you notice, most people don't realize this, that after all that, he puts his hair back up, but it's not braided. It's
I didn't.
actually
I don't remember if I noticed. I remembered his hair being down. You know, he had to be old Fabio with the ladies, and
right. But it went.
he's
But yeah, it's the only
definitely a
time.
smooth dude. He gets the girls. And the thing I love about the book and the way you're writing it too, and I can tell you really have it. Like you said, you got it. I mean, you have the first 6 stories already basically written. I don't know up
Well,
there.
I have the yeah, I have this Rise of the Pirate King is completely. I know exactly where that is. I mean, it's. I have learned to not write too far ahead because every illustrator I've ever worked with to this point changes things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I have it all written, then I'm going to get all ticked off because I'm not giving enough flexibility to the illustrator. You know?
Now you have the
And,
same team, right? Even going into issue 3, were you able to keep
well,
everybody together?
I have the same colorist. I have the cover artist from chapter 2 working on the interiors of chapter 3. And that is because Andrea Bormida made a commitment that paid better than me, and he had to work on that. Couldn't work on this. And then we actually had a little bit of creative differences, and we had a big fight. You know what I mean? And but we have mended those fences. And I am talking to him about, you know, when he's finished with the project, so he's on right now to come back and take over Captain Love again.
I
But
believe that. I totally understand. It's tough when you're working together.
well, it's
With what I'm
also
doing, it's tough at times. Things happen, you know, but ultimately you wind up coming back, and it's good to hear that you guys have mended the fences. And
yeah, I just can't outbid, you know what I mean, the people that he's currently working with. You know what I mean? When he gets a project that pays better than me, I just can't. I mean, I'm look at my campaign. It only has, you know, I got 27 days left, and I'm only at $2,700. You know what I
well,
mean?
hopefully we can get a few more purchases because,
Yeah.
guys, this is a fun book. You're gonna have a great time with it.
I mean, it would be
It
doing a
really
lot
is
better.
fun.
I mean, it would be, honestly, I admit, it would be doing a lot better if I had more time to spend promoting it. But the truth of the matter is, my time is stretched so thin between making a living to pay for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, because I pay for it up front. That's another thing that people don't realize. I'm not like, okay, you know what? Give me your money and wait 2 years for your book. You know what I mean? It's give me your money when the campaign's over. You know what I mean? I'm gonna, you know, get it ready to go, get it to print, and when it comes back, I'm gonna pack it and ship it out. You know what I mean? You know, I gave myself a little bit more slack this time than normal because of all the stuff that's going on with you know, the world. You know what I mean?
yeah,
With
oh, yeah, yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, I know it was, you know, with getting copies made, getting prints made. It's everything's just kind of been crazy. I mean, that's how our world's been, and it just never seems to not get crazy. I don't know what it is. Um, I, I'd love everybody to see the trailer. Do I do that on my end or
no,
yours?
I can hit that right here. Let's hit that.
Let's see, guys. This is great. Let me put it on the big screen here for you.
I hit that wrong. I hit the wrong one. It's this. No, which one is it? It is. I know it's one of these. Here we go. All right. Can you hear that?
I can't hear it. No.
Oh, maybe it's because I have it muted.
My name is Spade. That
Let
stands
me
for
start over. How about now? Can you hear it? Okay, wait, are you
I
hearing it?
did hear it once you had it up. Yep.
Okay.
Greetings. My name is Spade. That stands for Synchronized Protocol Artificial Intelligence Delegate, and I am living software. I want to tell you about this amazing person I'm blessed enough to be companions with. His name is Love. Captain Love is a space trucker and a famous war hero. He once saved the solar system from a madman's reign. Some people believe him to be immortal, but if you were to ask him, he would say he just hasn't died yet. Captain Love regularly, and somewhat reluctantly, finds himself on wild adventures that could potentially change the course of the solar system. There always seems to be a friend of his in trouble, and some sinister person, evil organization, or jealous husband trying to kill him. Sometimes it's friends, or a woman's attention, that gets him in what seems like a tough situation. But regardless, I am always there with him. I look after him, and I know him better than anyone ever will. He is a really good man, no matter what anyone else says.
And you feel like the universe is giving and there'll be love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right up there. There'll be love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue.
Yeah, I was hooked on that. I was hooked. I just dropped a link for anybody who popped in. Hey, Halloween Fiend PDX, good to see you. Chad, yes, the art is insane. And I'm not just saying, I wouldn't just invite Drew on if I didn't love this book. I love it so much. And I know I've asked him a few times, and I messaged, I don't think you're on Instagram much, but I caught you on Twitter.
Not much, but I do. I'm trying to do more. You know what I mean? I really don't have a lot of like leeway, but I don't. I keep saying, well, you're just making excuses. I'm like, literally, I have, like very little time in my life free, but that time I got to use. I got to be productive. You know what I mean? I can't just sit around and hope that Captain Love is going to get popular on its own. You know what I mean? So I gotta make it happen. That's
I hope you do. I really hope you keep pushing and doing what you're doing because, like I said, I'm a huge fan. I look forward to each chapter. And each one, there's so many different questions. There's a lot of questions about Captain Love and who he really is. Is he immortal?
What? Give me your questions, and I'd love to address.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head some of them. I wanted to reread a lot, but there's a scene where he's telling when him and Spade meet and the way they meet. One of the things I really liked, but also question is, what is Captain Love? I mean, there is questions to what he really is in a sense, like you say in the song, he's immortal. What's the direction it was by a sorcerer, right?
Well, so yeah, the way that his immortality legend happens. Okay, so it's during the cleansing, and for people who don't mind the spoiler, the cleansing is the war between the corporation and the planets. And at that time, the corporation is a one massive company. I mean, like if it was like Disney on steroids, it just
a lot of
consumes
corruption.
everything. Yeah, it just consumes everything, and then it's it's all about money. It's not about people. You know what I mean? So the and then it decides that, okay, so like planet Venus is the pleasure planet, right? And that's the planet where only women can be citizens and men can only be guests. And so people would go, women can be guests too, but you can't be a man and be a citizen. So what happens is everything on Venus is pretty much free, and it's all free love. And so people would go to Venus for vacations and then go back to their job at the corporation and be less productive. So the corporation discovered that, and they're like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to have to get a piece of this Venus action. You know what I mean? Because they're taking all the vacations and all that kind of stuff, and our people are coming back less productive. Let's get a piece of this. Obviously, they have the intention of trying to make a profit of it, but when they have a piece of it, they can try to manipulate it to be where their people come back and be more productive, right? That's obviously their mindset behind that. So, but Venus, the Queen of Venus, is like, no, thank you. have no interest in your philosophy of life. It's not how we are here. Take a hike. And
Yeah, they didn't
so
want
yeah,
corruption. It's a very well, it's all female planet, but it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Natural. Like they want to keep their ways. It's almost I'd almost say like Native Americans. They don't want people coming in and ruining the way they live life.
well, see, the planet Venus is all about pleasure,
Yeah,
right? It's about enjoying every moment to the absolute most fulfilling thing that you can do. So obviously, a lot of people are there just having sex. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But there's also people who are living out their dreams to some extent. Like when we get to the planet Venus later in further stories, it's not just a sex planet. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a lot of sex on Venus. You know what I mean? But it's not just a sex planet. There's also other people who, like, say, if you wanted to be a race car driver and that's your fantasy, you know what I mean? There would be a situation on Venus where you could get on a racetrack, race your car, and you'd have like an all-female crew, and you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff, and they'd all look hot, and you'd be like, oh, so it's I don't want to give too many spoilers. I just did,
But almost a
but
Total Recall kind of experience.
in a way, kind of where if you could draw a parallel to Total Recall on the fact that, but it's not like it just gets injected into your brain. You know what I mean? It's more like a Westworld. You know what I mean? Where like
Okay.
there's an actual thing that you can go and live out. You know what I mean?
They put on what your dreams are and they make it happen, like an exclusive vacation. This is how I want it to be, and we'll make it a reality for you.
Yeah, and it's an underground society technically. You know what I mean? Because Venus is not habitable on the surface. It's actually like
The
toxic.
moon.
Yeah, it'll kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so they live underground, and but they have so much space available to them. You know what I mean? That they're able to recreate what looks like an outdoor world underground in some ways. And
And
it's
terraform it.
well, they actually discovered that this is obviously sci-fi, it's fiction, but they in on this planet Venus, there's crystals that are that capture the light that gets through the sulfur gas that projects, and those crystals offered artificial underground light. And it also is something that's like the right kind of vitamins. It filters out all the bad stuff. You know what I mean? So it's actually like energizing, and it's really healthy. So it's just like this paradise. You know what I mean? And so they have the ability to get natural light from that. Then obviously they have because they're underground, they have thermal power. So like they take power from the heat of the planet itself. You know what I mean? And then so they actually have like this free energy, a free, all these different, they basically have designed the planet to where it doesn't cost anybody anything to do it, to be there. You know what I mean? So even if you have like an seriously expensive fantasy, right? Like being a race car driver, it's not going to cost you anything to go and get a car on Venus. And, I mean, it maybe cost a little bit, but not anything more than like going to Disneyland. You know what I mean?
As long as you're a welcomed guest, it's very important.
As long as you have not, yeah, as long as you are a welcomed guest, yes.
And I think that kind of shows anybody who's here the thought and detail he's got in this whole story. And I have a ton of respect for it, because you're not only just thinking of the easy, I don't want to say easy stuff where it's a guy traveling in space. There's details in everything that's going on in the story.
Oh man, I have been setting up. I have stories that, okay, so like after Rise of the Pirate King is over, right? When I finish those chapters, the next book, I have that entire story arc completely fixed. And I know what's going on even after that. You know what I mean? I haven't all the way outlined the third story, but this one and the one after are completely outlined. In the next 6-chapter arc, we get a whole next level villain. Unlike anything anybody has ever seen before. I have been building to this villain because I can't just jump to him. Because if I jump to him, it would look cheesy. So I have to build to him. And then you guys see, the thing is I want you to get invested in the villain, you know what I mean, completely. So when I introduce him, you're going to be like, "Oh, this dude is evil." You know what I mean? It's like it's just like there's like next level evil, and you'll find out that he's uniquely designed to be Captain Love's nemesis. You know how he's going to be Lex Luthor to Superman.
He's going to be
Captain
his
Love.
yin to his yang.
He's going to be Captain Love's Lex Luthor. You know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to it because even the characters, the way I've, you know, and you're only 2 issues in, and then you got the hero of the cleansing. But like you said, that's more of a like a dictionary of inside details of things going on.
It tells you, explains what the cleansing was. It
Right.
explains how Captain Love has the legend of being immortal, and explains how he met Spade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I didn't want to get away.
Yeah.
Was the you know, because there is a big piece in Captain Love and some the hero of the cleansing that I really enjoyed, and some of the really great artwork in there. That even though you don't need to read it, I highly recommend it as a reader, because not only does it give the information, it's a fun read. It's a fun read to get to know Spade, because she really is a lovable character, and Captain Love is really a very deep character. These aren't just like copy and paste characters. They actually have a lot of levels to each one of them. And even the people we've been introduced to that are the corporation have a lot of levels. A lot of levels.
Well, you know, it's really here's the challenge for me is putting depth into a comic in a character that you introduce in a comic book story. You know what I mean? It's really hard to, because you can't just come out with, like, if I just came out with a 24-page floppy first, it would be hard to communicate anything at any kind of depth. You know what I mean? So obviously everything I do currently, I actually have another series, by the way. I don't know if you know, but there's a completely, which you might dig since you dig horror. I actually have, it's kind of, it's partially a horror related genre. It's a few different genres. It's something unlike anything that I've ever seen out there. So I'm kind of excited to start pushing it, you know what I mean, fairly soon. And then that one's going to be out this summer. And it's going to be first released the same way Captain Love is, with a an 80-page graphic novel. And then that'll be like the introduction story. Like, here's the boom.
I definitely want to check that out. I definitely want to check that out. And that'd be something I'd love to have you come and talk about too.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about it. No, I mean, I know how it is with you. Like, I'm working 24-hour shifts left and right daily. So finding time for things, like I said, I wanted to read Captain Love. I haven't had a chance to do it, and I wanted to do it today. And
no, I hear you. I have friends.
I had to get my guys from work. I had to get them all. I just couldn't find the time to do it, just to refresh. I remember a lot of the story, and there was so many questions I want to ask you, but I wanted to reread it to talk about it. But then again, I didn't want to spoil anything, so I kind of felt where it was a good balance.
So for your audience, we'll give like an example from Hero of the Cleansing. One little like small moment of what like has, I guess you could say, a layered depth. Let's see, where's it at in here? Okay, so in here, in this scene, I don't know if you can full screen me or whatever. You can't. I don't know if you can see it.
Let me put you on. I'll put you on full screen, man.
Yeah.
In
here, it's kind of explaining what the cleansing is a little bit. But if you look on this panel, we have them killing people by saving ammunition, by making them jump into the burning molten metal. You know what I mean? They're making people jump into a foundry to kill them.
That was one of my favorite parts to a few pages in that story. It was pretty brutal, and it leads a lot to it's about Captain Love after it's all finished and through, and it's like, okay, I got that Darth Vader moment in a sense, just the look wise. I don't want to spoil anything because I love it, but there's so much to it. It's like, wow, I wasn't sure about rumors and stuff, but it definitely.
You are the first person to stumble on part of the villain formula that I have set up. Darth Vader is, and I don't want to give too much because I don't want to spoil where this is going. You know what I mean? But Darth Vader actually is like an influence for my villain concept. Not the only influence. I mean, I have other influences that are super intense, but Darth Vader is in the Hero of the Cleansing. The Executive General is there's a little bit of Darth Vader in there, but actually it's in that in I don't want to spoil it. I got to say less. Someday in a few after Rise of the Pirate King and the next book are out, we can finish this conversation.
Yeah, if you guys want to join this conversation, you guys are going to have to jump into Indiegogo. Let me drop that link too. I'm telling you guys, it is really worth a read. It's worth the $15. It's worth supporting this project. It's a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun. And that's where I'm kind of at too, where I remember a lot of the book and there's questions I'd love to ask you, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody who is interested in reading it because it really is worth the read. It's a lot of fun if you enjoy just classic 70s, 80s, like you said, Flash Gordon, Han Solo, Buck Rogers. There's so many different influences in the book.
Now
and it's so well written.
And so like Jean, right, is a throw to Wilma Deering, but she has a crush on Love, but Love doesn't have any idea. He's clueless because again, Love's heart is all tied up in that voodoo princess. You know what I mean? So he's not able to love anybody else, nor is he even able to be aware that they're in love with him. Jean is Love's best friend. They fought together side by side in the Cleansing. She's also a hauler driver. And most people, I mean, just about everybody's picked up on the fact she's got a big fat crush on him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
You know, but he's clueless to it. And so this is the first time.
Is this a good example of he's one of those guys who knows he can get all the ladies, but doesn't really feel like anybody could really actually love him? You know, his ego's so big he just doesn't see it.
It's not even that at all. See, what it is that he's that voodoo curse that's on him, right? His heart is so tied up in that it's not available for anything else. And it's not an ego thing. He's just not aware of anybody else's feelings for him. You know what I mean? It's just it's kind of okay. Think about it like this, right? If you had met your soulmate, the person who every moment you were with them was nothing but absolute 100% perfect, right? And then she died and you never got a chance to say goodbye, right? You would love that person intensely for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then if you had a curse and she was a voodoo princess, that as long as you still loved her, you would always have to come back, you know, you'd always be, you know, protected. And so that you could come back to her. Right. That's what keeps, you know, again, the legend that he's alive forever. However, his love for her was so intense that he's blinded to anybody else loving him or having the ability to love anybody else in that kind of way. Now he loves
move forward. Yeah.
Yeah. He loves a lot of people as friends. You know, he cares about a lot of people, but I mean he's
got a big heart. It shows in the book.
Yeah. He's got a huge heart. Wait until you see what's coming, man. There's stuff that he gets himself into that, you know, is, yeah. But so so in chapter 3, right, Madame Mary is introduced in chapter 2, and Madame Mary runs a brothel in space. You know, it's this big, huge brothel. And he gets to go to this brothel. Being Captain Love is this, here's one of the reasons why it's set up this way. And this explains it. So Captain Love is the guy that he's not super ego inflated, but he's got his other things on his mind. So he seems unattainable, which makes him more attractive. Right. And then also, you know, sometimes he can also be treated kind of like the F-boy. You know what I mean? Where girls know that they can get whatever they want from him sexually, but he's not going to be clingy. You know what I mean? He's not gonna be coming back around saying,
He doesn't
"Hey,
get attacked.
can we get a date or whatever?" You know what I mean? It's like they can get whatever they want. They can have all kinds of pleasure, all that they want, and then he's like, "Yeah, okay, see you next time." You know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't have that attachment like you said. Even with Spade, I just love their dialogue, and he just doesn't get it, and it's just written all over the place. You know, and they are my two favorite characters. Obviously, in a short amount of time, they both grew on me. At Spade, especially, just because she's just funny too, and the way they're so different, in the way she loves them and protects them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hilarious to me. Their banter between each other. It cracks me up.
Wait until you see where Spade goes, because she's a pivotal character. In fact, she is her own superhero. You know what I mean? And people who are wondering, Spade. Let's see. There's a picture of her somewhere, right? Did I not include a Spade picture in this? That would have been a first. Literally, I didn't have the time I wanted to put together this this campaign. You know what I mean? I actually put off launching my campaign because I didn't have enough time. This is Spade right here in the circle.
Yep.
So if anybody's wondering, this is Spade. She is an artificial intelligence. Spade stands for Synchronized Protocol Artificial Intelligence Delegate. Okay, which basically means that she's living software, and she can exist in multiple computers at the same time. So she is able to, like, say, for instance, there's a computer inside Love's head that drives his optical and audio implant. All right. She exists in that. In fact, she hijacks his head in Hero the Cleansing to escape her own destruction.
Right.
Yeah. So
because he's hearing it. I remember in the book, he's hearing things, he's looking all over for it, and he doesn't know it. It was well done written, the way he meets Spade. I enjoyed the way they met, and it was cool to hear the backstory of it. And that's why I was really happy to read the Hero of the Cleansing. Even though you said it's not crucial, it doesn't hurt to read it, but it's not gonna take away from issue 1
right.
or
it's not crucial, but reading it will increase the pleasure
I
level.
highly recommend reading it. It's worth it, and the price point on it, and with the issues, it's worth it. I don't have the campaign up on my screen anywhere, but you do have a book 1 issue.
Well, the chapter 1 campaign is now the Hero of the Cleansing campaign and the chapter 1 campaign are both closed now. And the reason why is because I had people getting confused and not being able to find the active campaign, right? Last time. So chapter 2 campaign is still open for people who, like, say, for instance, they want to read chapters, volume 1, which is Hero of the Cleansing, chapters 1 and chapters 2, while they're waiting for chapter 3 to be fulfilled. They can still go and buy those there, have them shipped to them right away, and then come here and get chapter 3. You know what I mean? And it's like I designed it that way. And then the other reason why is there's some people that before I launched this campaign, bought like issue 1 and issue 2, and then they didn't realize they needed volume 1. And they're like, "Oh, dude, I got issue 1 and issue 2 on the way. I need volume 1 now." And I'm like, okay, so I can send them a secret perk on that one, and they can pay right away, and then I can fulfill it right away because that campaign's in demand. You know what I mean? So it's like when this one goes in demand, right, then that one will close.
So guys, make sure you catch up. You do not want to miss out. It's really worth reading this, and if you go to the link I've dropped, you'll be able to find the previous campaign, the second campaign, and you'll also be able to grab the book, right? You can still get the Hero of the Cleansing, and
in fact, right here,
1 and 2.
Here, if you haven't read anything yet, if you haven't read anything yet, right here is the featured is the Catch Me Up, right? It actually has chapter 1, 2, and 3, and then volume 1, and you'll get this all shipped when the fulfillment happens.
Okay, I can't see it on my screen, but what is it, $60 for all of that?
Yeah.
That's a great price point. I mean, it really is. You're getting your money's worth. Like I said, I got the Heroes of the Cleansing, the volume. I got issue 2 here.
Mm-hmm.
and you're also
and
getting
then
really
shipping is
cool,
included in
cool
that. So
stuff.
people,
I can't remember if I had a choice between different ones. I'm trying to remember the campaign when I got it because I enjoyed it. And then you got issue 1 here, and you're getting your money's worth for $60. You definitely get it, and that includes shipping too.
yeah, if you're in the United States, the shipping is included in the price you see here. If you are out of the country, I have to up the shipping costs because it's too expensive to ship out of the country.
That yeah, you'd be spending money to sell your comic at that rate.
Exactly.
But
So,
even if
but I
anybody
do
is
discount the
interested,
domestic. But I do
it's
discount
issue
the
like
domestic.
1 and 2. They're ready to be shipped. If you order it, it's getting shipped for you.
Mhm.
To see if you guys are interested, even if you don't get that bundle, you want to just check it out at first. I definitely recommend getting the Hero of the Cleansing and then the issue 1, because after you read it, you're gonna love it. You're gonna have to own issue 2 and 3.
Right.
There's
And
no
if
way.
you and if you
There's
missed
no
the
way.
campaign, yeah, if you get Hero of the Cleansing, hopefully I hook you with that. I mean, if you go back and get Hero of the Cleansing, I mean that thing's designed to hook you. You know,
And you can
like,
always go back, and that's what's great about it with issue 1 and 2. If you don't remember something, and you can always go to it for reference, and it makes sense what's going on a little bit more if you forget, because there's a lot and a little, but you
okay,
do it so
so
well. There's a lot of story
did you read
and a lot
X-Men?
of.
Did you read X-Men in the early 80s at all?
You know what? I was never a big comic book guy until I got older.
Okay.
I hit my close to 40s, and I started collecting comics, and I got into the adult comics, and like The Walking Dead. Like more,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the other ones, they have darker themes. I got into The Walking Dead, and actually how I got interested in things is Ronnie Hayes and James Milne's Doomsday's Kingdom, which I got a whole bunch of stuff. I even did the clown mask I had it made.
Well, I know I was checking out your background while you were talking, man. It's you got a hell of a horror collection, man. It's awesome.
I got more on the way. I do a lot of conventions now. I'll be in Florida for 2. Some really cool stuff. I've met some incredibly talented people. That's why I was telling you. There's a lot of people that are out there too that I'm sure would be interested in helping and looking and checking out what you're doing, because I want to support it, dude. It's a great story. I want to see you succeed with this. I'd love. There's so much opportunity with what I've read, and we're just getting started. But we're just getting started in this story.
It is just beginning. In fact, I like I said, the story that follows Rise of the Pirate King, right? So that would be issue 7 moving forward, right? That will be like you'll be like, if you read that and you haven't read before, you're gonna kick yourself, because there is so many little things that are set up for that book. There's so many little tiny things that you don't have any idea are the setup, but I know exactly why it is done exactly that way, because it is this long stream of connections that happen over and over and over until, boom, this thing happens that makes all this stream of connections make sense. You'd be like, oh, holy, and you will go back and you will read everything to see that connection again. Because you'll be like, oh, is that right? Am I crazy? And then you'll go back and be like, dude knew this for years. He knew he was going to tell us this years ago.
I mean, issue 2, I remember I want to reread it again, but left me with so many questions going to issue 3. Like issue 1 in the Hero of the Cleansing really kind of, I don't want to say it had a complete story, but it did just capture you.
It was a complete
issue 2 kind of gives you that.
Yeah.
All right, questions. Every time you think you got an answer, you're getting more questions. Issue 2 ends, and it's like, I got a lot of questions. I'm looking forward to finding out some of these answers.
Yeah, the issues 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of stuff. Well, again, I'm writing them in 6 chapter arcs, right? So you need to wonder what's happening in the next one when I finish. If I don't make you wonder, like when chapter 1's done, and you're wondering, okay, wait, what's going to happen now? If you're not wondering that, I have not done my job right. So
you've done your job right. I definitely, when I heard, because I've kind of missed anything from you, and I saw you doing a stream, and it's like, oh, the campaign for issue 3 is coming out. Damn. And I caught you in that stream, and you were talking about it. And then I got my perks yesterday. I invested yesterday in the third one. I wanted to do it right after, and I had so many bills coming in, all this other stuff I've been working on, getting ready for campaigns. It's like, you're coming on. I got to get my order in and support this project because it's amazing, dude. I enjoy it. I'm a horror dude, but I love comedy. I love 80s Han Solo, Flash Gordon movie. Even I'd never read the comics Flash Gordon, and I did watch the old black and white show though. I haven't watched all of them, but I forget. I think they might be on Tubi or Amazon Prime or IMDb.
Well, they're on Amazon Prime. They are.
I knew I'd started watching some, and I want to keep finishing.
Everything Flash Gordon is either on Amazon Prime for rent, buy, or it's free.
Yeah. I love Amazon. It's a great.
You know what? Let me tell you. When we were kids, the reason why comics were so popular, I was going to mention this in the 80s. You know what I mean? The reason why I read comics so much was because we didn't have much. Okay, in 1980, we didn't even have MTV yet.
We had what, 5 channels?
We had cable TV, but most of it was like just what was on television. You know what I mean? There wasn't any cable news. There was just, TV stations, and then TV stations from, other towns. You know what I mean?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, which they changed that. They kept it, they reduced it to just local after that. But the whole pitch for cable TV was not that. It was the movie channels, right?
Yeah, HBO had just come out.
HBO came out right in 1980. That is correct. I believe it was 1980, 1979 or 1980, HBO. But HBO was out so it was 1980 when cable TV came to my whole neighborhood. You know what I mean? And I had been reading comics before that. So because comics was the only way to get any kind of exciting entertainment that was like that, because there were, there were reruns of Star Trek, but I already seen them all. You know what I mean? There was,
we were very limited. And even when a movie came out to the theater, it wasn't like it was out on video next day or you could stream it.
There wasn't video. There was no video yet. No. There was no VHS, no beta, there was nothing. I mean, back then, if you wanted to watch porn, you had to get it on like reel to reel, and you had to rent a camera.
Yeah. Well, video stores basically started at like a CVS pharmacy when they finally started coming out with them. I remember that probably when it started coming, maybe 82, 83.
Yeah.
I'm thinking going to the pharmacy.
Well, okay, so
and your selection was very limited too. It wasn't like you had a whole section. You had maybe 20 movies to choose from to rent.
There weren't that many available for years and years and years. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's not like movies, rentals came available and all of a sudden all the movies were available.
It was a different time.
Yeah. Think about when Netflix first came out. How long did it take to get like most of the movies, that were on Netflix to even be there? You know what I mean? It's like it first started out with just a handful of movies, and then it became like this huge explosion. You know what I mean?
Well, Netflix was, you ordered, it was basically instead of going to the video store, you'd order some discs and they'd send it. And that wasn't even that long ago. That was maybe 2012, 2010.
Netflix killed like the Blockbuster. You know what I mean? Netflix killed Blockbuster.
Oh,
Blockbuster
they destroyed it
because of Netflix. It was destroyed by it.
We actually had a video store down the street, and COVID wound up taking it out. We had a family video, and I work with special needs, and they love physical media. So that was like an event, just going to the video store. It'd take me back to those days of going and renting movies and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I got into it. Like in the 80s, mid 80s, early, mid 80s pretty much. And the video stores were really starting to pop. And you'd go there and you'd look at covers, and like that's how I became a huge horror fan. It's like, oh, this is a cool cover. I'm getting this, I'm getting that, I'm getting this, and watch the most obscure movies because it still wasn't what it is today. You can find 7,000, even on 7,000 horror movies on, say, Tubi or IMDb. I mean, it's just stacked. Where you maybe had 75, which was still a lot. I watched all of them, and I found my favorite ones. And some of the covers were pretty deceiving. You'd put it in and try to get through watching it, but it was just so awful. But it's just so different now than it was. And you said 3 years older than me.
So back in 1980, you would have been a lot younger feeling than I was. You know what I mean?
In 80, I was full.
Yeah. See, I was in '80. I was I think I was 8. So so like because I was born in '72 in December. So basically 73, so 73, I turned 1, 74, I turned 2, 75, I turned 3, 6, 4, 77, I'm 5. And if you remember what happened in 1977,
Star Wars. It was my
yeah,
first memory.
yeah, I was
It was
5
my
years
first
old.
memory. I remember as a kid going to the movie theater and watching Star Wars in the theater. That is my first
Yes,
memory. Is Star Wars.
that is my first memory of the movie theater itself.
Same here. And I was only 4. I was only 1 year old, 2 years old when
Yeah.
we went, because the movies would run a lot longer than they did now. And Star Wars was one that ran for a long time. And I
Star
couldn't
Wars
have been
ran
more
almost
than
a
2 or
year in the
3 when I
theaters.
saw it in the theater.
Yeah. I think
And
Star
then
Wars was in the theater for almost a year. I think it was like running
yeah.
in the theater for almost a year. Yeah.
And I remember with my hockey team, one of my friends had a birthday. Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980, and I was like, boom, I was there. And then
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi in '83. And those are my first memories. I can't remember what I did last week, and I still remember the
Empire
experience of
Strikes
that.
Back. Empire Strikes Back is the first movie my mother let me go and watch by myself.
Oh, wow. Well, you
I
were
was
11 then.
Yeah, but it was it was the first time she let me go and say, okay, yeah, you can go. No friends, no parents. You know what I mean? You can go by yourself and watch it. You know what I
My
mean?
mother and they just had kept all my old Star Wars as a kid. I had all the originals, the Imperial Walker, the Millennium Falcon. They were probably in crappy shape because I'd play with them all the
I
time.
have the Millennium Falcon right there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, man. The toys were so cool then, man. Every Christmas I'd be stacked with Star Wars because I was a Star Wars kid.
Yeah, I'm a Millennium Falcon nut.
Yeah.
Which is not should if you've read Captain Love, it shouldn't be a surprise.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of Star Wars influence in that too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Definitely a lot with that. And it's oh man, I'm really happy for you. I'm excited. I can't stay on too long because I got to get up early tomorrow. But it's been a
Yeah,
blast
I gotta.
hanging with you. And
I actually am nursing kittens. I don't know. I don't want to.
I know you're a
bum their
cat
day out.
man. I know you've got a bunch of cats, and you take care of
Yeah.
like even the outdoor cats that just kind of wander in, the strays. And
Yeah.
you're a
So
big cat person. I know
my
that. I learned that fast in some of your live streams.
the outdoor cat who was the matriarch outside, the queen of the outside my house. You know what I mean? She had kittens last Saturday. And then on Monday morning, protecting her kittens, she got herself in a fight with a dog and
Oh,
lost.
no. Yeah.
And Monday night she died.
Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. So
I
I
have
found
kittens.
a kitten outside, 2 kittens. I took care of. I had to feed them with the
They're 4
formula
days
mix
old.
and everything. I had to use like the vet gave me like not with a needle, but the syringe just to get it in their mouth because they were so small. They couldn't have been more than like a week old. So I know you got to do it constantly.
These guys, I can bottle feed them, but I gotta make formula. I gotta warm it up. I gotta wipe their butts so that they'll poop because they can't poop on their own. It's just, I mean, and I gotta feed them every between 2 and 4 hours, and
Yeah.
it's and I gotta make sure because here's the one thing is like they can't be overfed. I mean, you know what I mean. You can feed them till they're full. You know what I mean? As much as they'll eat, which is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, but you can easily underfeed them because they're growing and they need nutrients more now than any other time in their rest of their entire life.
Well, the way cats and animals, even dogs grow, they need that nutrition. I mean, they grow fast.
Yeah.
Too fast.
Yeah. So, and there's 5 of them. And so they right now they're being really quiet and they're knocked out. I actually I got stuff in the mail to keep them today for Amazon to keep them better warm and that kind of thing. But yeah, so I hear you. I mean, it's like that's like the nature of my life. Like I have cats, right? But like for instance, I'm already with a full plate, barely able to manage, promote my own campaign. And what happens, right? Life gives me another just smack in the jaw and makes me have to be a nursing kitty mother
By the time
And
you're done feeding them, you're feeding them again.
literally, it takes about 30 minutes to feed them. That is true.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. So it's like it is a chore in itself.
Well,
But
it's nice that you got that kind of big heart and compassion and taking care of these animals the way you do. And I know you have you'd like my buddy Patrick. He's got a show, Have Cheetah Will View, and he's a big cat person too. He even named his channel Have Cheetah Will View.
that's kind of
His
cool.
cat he called the cheetah because it's orange and white. So yeah, he does a great show, man, too. But he's a cat guy, and I am a cat guy too. I just don't have time to have a cat. I'm never home.
Yeah.
I'm never home. I actually moved out of my house, and I'm just gonna stay at a hotel because I literally work 24 hours a day, except for right now, 2 days a week. And then I'm going to Florida. It's like, why rent
If you're gonna stay
something
at a
and get?
hotel, I mean, if you're gonna stay at a hotel, where do you keep all your stuff? Do you keep it like in storage?
I keep. All my stuff is at work. I'm at my job.
Oh, okay. So
This is the staff bedroom that me and my coworker who comes in don't use. So I turned it into Doomsday's Krypt. I'm here more than I'm not.
I got you.
I
That's
mean,
cool,
this is
though.
more my home than when I was home. My
Yeah.
home was basically go have a few beers, hang out with some of my friends. Like Interval's been here, and my son Devontae. He's starting to get into co-hosting with me. My buddy Camp Crystal Cabin 6, who does a lot of Jason Hawks. He just did a really amazing one for Freddy Krueger's mom, Beatrice Bupley, and she loves it and showed it to her. It's really cool. It's got the Freddy claw going across the face and then the
Nice.
rosary that he's gifting her. And he does some amazing ones. There's
cool.
some really talented people, but those are the people I hang out with. I mean, on my days off. And then when I'm at work, I'm just with my guys, which are really my best friends. So
That's
yeah.
awesome, though. I mean, that really is awesome. I mean, I have a couple of like really good friends that I get to spend time with. But for the most part, I spend most of my life sitting right where I'm at right now, coding on the screens that are in front of me. And I get to I get to break away from it every once in a while now, because I mean, like on Tuesday nights, I basically I produce that a television show, and that's a lot of work. I can't even begin to communicate how much work that is. And then there's Wednesday. It's like a lot of editing for that video, for that content, and get it to time for broadcast for Thursday. And then so it's like, between those two things, I'm pretty swamped. Plus I have a class that I take on Thursday nights, and then it's like I do have other nights that are available, but
you got to find time to sleep. You don't have time for that.
Well, no, I also have to write. I have another
Yeah.
series going. I have the Captain Love series. I also write screenplays. I actually am working on a couple of books.
Well, I deal with a lot of indie projects too. So if you ever do write a screenplay and you're looking for people, I deal with a lot of the indie actors. And
I actually we should talk about that more offline.
Yeah.
Because I actually am putting together a couple of indie projects myself, and I am working right now with a guy who has a few movies out, like feature films. One of them's even franchised right now. And we're kind of like joining forces so that we can kind of be stronger together, kind of thing. I mean, seriously, all resources are loved. I mean, we because we can do a lot, what I mean, with working with network. I mean, especially in the horror genre. You can make horror on
bigger than it's ever been, I think.
And you can make it on a piss budget, and it's not like
sci-fi.
Well,
one of my buddies is out filming the Sawyer Massacre right now. It's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre prequel. They're out in Texas. Steve Merlo, yeah. I'm an associate producer on that one. And then Halloween 3 sequel, one of my friends, Michelle Lynn Blasky's working on, called The Third Channel. There's so many cool projects coming out. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
The Terrifier guys, Michael Levy, I had him on my show. They got a movie coming out called Stream, and it's got like Dee Wallace, Danielle Harris, Felissa Rose, just stacked with everybody. Tony Todd, David
I actually had an opportunity. I had to pass on an opportunity to meet with Felissa Rose this Thursday, actually, but because of the kittens.
Oh,
I have
well, I
to stay
meet her
home
in May.
tomorrow.
She's at I'll be at Spookala in May, and then I go again to Phantasm in August.
Well,
So
she's going to be in a movie that that the guy I was telling you about. He
okay.
actually is going down there to talk to her, and then we want to hook her into one of the projects that I have going on. Um, so I was supposed to go down with him on Thursday to talk to her, but then there's no way I can make a trip to LA right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting her. I was a big Sleepaway Camp fan as a kid. It really, the ending, especially at the time, it was just not expected. It blew my it just that face and
Yeah, nowadays you'd be like, oh, okay, that's predictable. But
yeah,
actually, then it was a completely unpredictable thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Especially I don't know. I'm trying to remember when that came out. 83.
it's old like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
old.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so I was a kid when I watched that, and it was a movie that it stuck with me. The ending really stuck with me, and I'm looking forward to meeting her. She's in that Scream movie I was telling you. She's been busy doing a lot of indie projects. So if you got a script going on, and I'll definitely talk. We definitely got to talk more because it sounds like we got more in common than just my fandom for Captain Love.
Yeah, no, I'm actually a horror nut, man. I'm not like an aficionado like my friend Brian Krishkow, but
Yeah,
but we used to do a show together where we did a horror show. Him, Sim, and I. We used to we used to host on Monday nights a horror talk show, and we used to get pissed off because YouTube would shut us down all the time. Um, just like no matter what, we just try to show a clip so we could talk about it, and you know what I mean. And
YouTube
it would
didn't
just be
like it
like
too much, huh?
YouTube would hit us
Actually,
every time.
next Thursday, I believe I got it set Thursday. I'll be sitting with Peter Anthony. He did the Roseblood Jason movie that just came out. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Not yet.
It's cool. You can find it on YouTube. I'll send you the link. It's
Yeah, send me a link. I really don't have a whole lot of time to watch stuff these days.
yeah,
But if I'm like okay, so here's an example. Like if I am feeding the cats, you know what I
yeah.
mean, the kittens, I actually have found that I actually have time to sit and watch something. Or if
Gives
I'm
you
trying,
it actually makes time for you that you wouldn't normally take, huh?
right. Plus, I watch almost most of the stuff that I watch. Um, like I do force myself to have a day or two off on like every few weeks to keep myself from burning out. You know what I mean? And I will binge watch stuff heavily then. Sometimes I'll binge watch stuff on Netflix or whatever, but I'm not really paying attention to it while I'm coding. I'll have it playing next to me as like a distraction. It's like, but nothing that's really it's like you have to watch. It's more like more like sitcoms or you know what I mean, stuff like that
Yeah.
you can just listen to and then glance over every once in a while. Um,
That's
you
the
know,
one thing with my job is I work a lot, but my job is basically hanging out with my pals. And one of them's a huge horror fan. Now I got to be careful because, there's some horror that I just got to be careful with that. But he loves it. Like he's a huge horror fan, and we just sit and we'll watch horror movies all the time together.
yeah.
And
Well,
he
I
loves it.
have I right now I'm trying to just break into the horror filmmaking world a little bit. I've been waiting for a while for the right time to because I'm not the kind of person that just goes and jumps into something and hopes that it's going to work. I always have a strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a business plan kind of approach to everything. And so with horror, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to write these scripts. I actually have a handful of them already. And then, a few, like 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got a script in the works myself too. I'm working on it with Ronnie Hayes, the guy who's behind Doomsday Kingdom.
Nice.
So we've talked, and we're pretty excited about it, and the fact that he's excited about it, it's looking forward to it. We're hoping to get a teaser trailer shot in the next few months, but
yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm excited. I love horror, dude.
Yeah, what I'm trying to accomplish now is I'm trying to build my network enough to where I can start producing like small, low budget.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, but not like not corny low budget. You know what I mean.
But
I do have a short lined up that we're actually going to be making really soon, and then I have an actual feature length one that
nice.
that I'm working on, and then I have one that right now is about 45 minutes, and I'm debating whether or not I want to turn it into 90 minutes. But if it's going to be 45 minutes, I might pair up with another guy who's got something in similar length, and then we'll make a 2-movie feature. You know what I mean? Like a split. You know, like the word that there's a word for that, but I right now anthology. You know, they make
Yeah.
like an anthology kind of style
Nice.
movie. You know what I mean? Because that there's a lot of people who have shorts that could stand on their own, but they're just not long enough to, you know, be feature length. And you put a few of those guys together, and they can put something out that's feature length. But so I have these things that I'm working on. But I have a couple of stories that I haven't started writing yet that are so twisted and just like demented on their own level. Like unlike anything I've been able to do so far. I mean, just like, because there's no platform. Like if I was to do it in comics, it wouldn't do it justice. It has to be timed right, and it has to be, you know, it has to be film. But it's just, let me just tell you, like if I get to make this stuff, you're gonna be like, no, ow,
I'm looking
no.
forward to it, dude. Like I said, I wasn't expecting Captain Love to be hooked on it. I definitely know you have some serious writing skills, and that you're not just gonna write something that's just total shit. You know, I mean, you're gonna write
Thank you.
something good. You're not
Thank
gonna waste your time writing, doing something if you don't believe in what you're doing and have a good story thought in your head. I'm looking forward to that. We definitely have to talk more and
Yeah.
stay in touch about a lot of the things going on, because it seems like we got a lot in common that we could. I'd love to hear you're talking with. I might even know the person. You know, I'm sure it's a horror
Well,
community.
his name is Michael S. Rodriguez, and the movie that I'm trying. It's let's see, what is it called? I mean, he just had the second movie release like Friday, on Vudu, and then it's on like another, you know, the Fandango platform, and then it's a is it American?
Is it an original script or is it a fan sequel kind of deal?
It's an anthology.
Okay.
Let's see here. What's it? I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. Let's just do it this way. You know, I know how I'll do it. I'll go to Facebook. It'll be right there on Facebook. Let me. I'm just going to.
How about while you're looking for it, we play the trailer, the Indiegogo for Captain Love.
All right. Let me do that for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Can you hear that? Okay.
Greetings. My name is Spade. That stands for Synchronized Protocol Artificial Intelligence Delegate, and I am living software. I want to tell you about this amazing person I'm blessed enough to be companions with. His name is Love. Captain Love is a space trucker and a famous war hero. He once saved the solar system from a madman's reign. Some people believe him to be immortal, but if you were to ask him, he would say he just hasn't died yet. Captain Love regularly, and somewhat reluctantly, finds himself on wild adventures that could potentially change the course of the solar system. There always seems to be a friend of his in trouble, and some sinister person, evil organization, or jealous husband trying to kill him. Sometimes it's friends, or a woman's attention, that gets him in what seems like a tough situation. But regardless, I am always there with him. I look after him, and I know him better than anyone ever will. He is a really good man, no matter what anyone else says.
And you feel like the universe is giving and there'll be love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. There'll be love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue.
Yeah, so the movie is called The Last American Horror Show, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Okay.
I'll have to check it out. I have not heard of it.
And I would recommend starting with Volume 2 and then go back, if you like it, go back and watch Volume 1. And then I'm trying to like find the cast. I'm trying to see if it's Felicia Day is in one of them, either Volume 1 or Volume 2, actually, I believe. Let me see here. Last American Horror Show. 2008 and 2022. So 2008. Here, let me jump this so you guys can see it. So this is the first one. This is the 2008 version.
pop it up on the full
And there's
screen.
Felicia Rose right there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward. Who else is? Go back down. I want to see who else is in there. Maybe I
This
know
is the
some.
first one. This is the first one.
I know. I was just looking
And
at
Robert
some.
Allen Mukes, I'm sure you know who that is. Robert Mukes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, Fresno is considered one of the horror capitals of the world, which is really weird. So,
I believe Florida's a lot of the people I know are filming in Florida or the East Coast, but a lot in Florida is going on as far as filming in horror.
yeah, no, there's the thing about horror is there's so much variety that qualifies as horror. So this is the current cast of the second volume. I don't
It's
know if you
hard
know
to
any of
read.
those.
I'm looking like an old man looking at the screen. But yeah, that's
Yeah, so
definitely gonna check it out.
he's done those are feature films. You know what I mean?
What's that pen with me? I'll watch
and-
the stream later and get. I'll talk to you either way and get the link.
Yeah,
and
we'll
we
get it all.
definitely got to talk more for sure. But I have a lot of things in common about it. Oh, I accidentally booted out of there.
I closed it because
You closed it out.
Yeah.
But hey man, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I've been really wanting to talk to you about Captain Love for a while, and the fact that there's even more going on. That sounds really cool. I can't wait to see what you do as a horror script and what you're working on. And
let's just say no. Right now, at my stage of life, there's my fan base is, as far as people who know of me as a writer, musician. More people know me as a musician and as a behind the scenes guy. You know what I mean? Like I've always when YouTube was going on strong back in the day before it changed. Everybody, I was the go-to guy to make things happen. They'd be like, "Oh, okay, Drew, this is what we're thinking. How are we going to do this?" I was like, "I got it. I can make this happen."
You're definitely a talented guy, man. You definitely got a lot of skills. I said it's got to be so hard to write Captain Love, but it's not an easy story because there's so much to it, and you're only so far in it, and it's still a lot.
The challenge for me, Captain Love flows right out of me. You know what I mean? Because it's everything I like. But the challenge is to write it in, try to get like 3 little stories in 24 pages. You know what I mean? To communicate
and have it make sense to the reader.
Right. And then, it's like sometimes I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't want to be predictable. You know what I mean? I want to do stuff that they're not expecting. Like you read chapter 2, the scene where he's telling the joke on the way to the bathroom. You know what I mean? It's like, I thought, this is fun. You know what I mean? It's like a whole page dedicated to, or like even 2 pages dedicated to him, just like telling a joke. You know what I mean? While he's being escorted to the bathroom.
It cracked me up. I think I mentioned to you when I talked to you, and I cannot remember the joke, but I remember it, and I was even saying that joke had me stop reading. I just had to laugh because it was so funny. It was a good one, man.
It literally has a punchline.
It does, man. It caught me off guard, but it was so funny too. It was hilarious. It was a hilarious scene. It was a hilarious couple pages. I was like, man, because it kind of was like, oh, where's he gonna go? And then it was just hilarious. The punchline was really good. That's what I remember the most. Guys, you got to check out this. I'm gonna drop your link again. I didn't put any of your Twitter. You can find Drew on Twitter. Seems like that's your big thing that you like to do.
The Drew Love on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. All of those you can find me at The Drew Love. Most social media, obviously Facebook doesn't work the same way. My profile on Facebook is like my actual name, which is Drew Ish.
We're actually streaming on Facebook too. We're Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, I actually usually stream on all of the above too. You can stream on Twitter and Twitch and all those things all at the same times, and I tend to do that. So
I'll have to check that out. I know I could do it on Instagram and stuff, but
you're using StreamYard.
These platforms because I'd like to see YouTube do a little better than it does for me. But between the Facebook group that I have. Some people just don't like to go on YouTube, or some people don't like to go to Facebook.
You
You
know
just
what?
never know.
Here's the thing, right? Facebook is actually the one that serves me the best. Like I'll get hundreds of views on Facebook and normally compared to YouTube. You know what I mean? And YouTube, the reason why is you have to have people like who are invested in watching you every time before YouTube cares.
It's
You know
hard
what I
for me
mean?
to be consistent too because I work so much, as we talked about. It's hard to get and do a stream, get everything set, make sure something doesn't come up, and make sure I'm trying to at least be consistent with 1 or 2 streams a week. I'd like to move it up to 2 because I got some really cool guests I'm looking forward to talking about, and some really big announcements that I'm excited to let people know about that's going on.
I'd
And
like to
do
get back up to at least one. I was doing, 2 or 3 a week for a long time. I need to get back to 1 a week. It's just, I'm so overwhelmed with everything else that I'm doing that I don't want to take on something else and make everything else suffer. You know what I mean? That's the downside of this. And otherwise, I would be streaming like every night and talking Captain Love to death. So I appreciate you wanting to have me on and want to talk Captain Love. I mean, I do, and I really appreciate how much you dig the story
love it.
that you really dove in and you understand what's going on. I truly appreciate somebody who appreciates what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? So
Like I
that's
said, I
awesome.
really wanted to reread it again to have it fresh in my mind again, because it's been. I got the issue. I dove in with issue 2 because I had already read issue 1, and also the hero of the cleansing, and I was blown away. And when I got issue 2, I was nose deep in it. I think I read it twice the first time, because I read it slow, and I just make sure, even if I was flipping back and forth, just really involved, delving into the reading the book and the issue. So yeah, I loved it, man. And yeah, I can't wait for issue 3, dude.
Yeah. Well, so I just want to get you real excited then. So in 3, he goes to see Madame Mary, and obviously at a brothel, there's going to be some good times going on.
Oh, of course.
I try. I think I'm not going to be as I try to. I'm always concerned, like, where's that line of how graphic I should go with that. So I'll probably play with that forever. And then I don't go too graphic with this, but the point is really made. And then there's the dark figure who was introduced in chapter 1 returns in chapter 3, and you get to see his you got to see his violent side before, but you get to see another violent side.
Another level of his violence.
He is not kind. And then of course you get to learn a little bit more of Captain Love's history and why Madame Mary is so important to him. You know what I mean? So there's a lot, there's a lot going on into it, but it's really a connector, you know what I mean, between chapter 2 and chapter 4. You know what I mean? It's like you have to do that with a chapter. You know what I mean? You can't just make every chapter be like this amazing standalone story, or because it's just that would be impossible to do, because you couldn't really tell a good story that way. But but I tell little stories and bigger stories and bigger stories. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to do. But chapter 4, the next one after chapter 3, is going to be something really fun. It's going to be a bloodbath in a strip bar. Let's just put it that way.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be brutally fun, I think, as a reader.
Yes,
I'm looking forward. You mentioned that too. He's like, you were saying something. I can't wait. Issue 3 is going to be good, but I know there's some issues, and I'm pretty sure it's probably 4. And I think even another issue you're so excited to get there. Like, you have to get through chapter 3, and it's going to be great. But there's something in issue 4 that you're just so excited about. The Milky Way just isn't a safe place. Not for Captain Love.
I'm really excited to make the strip bar bloodbath. The way that whole story arc paints into the picture and how that flows out. That's just going to be a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like I really enjoyed in chapter 2. Was it chapter 2? Yeah, it was 2 where he had the bar fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was
Like
fun.
I was excited about that. That was so fun to do. He walks to the bar, you get to meet Jim. You get to see the whole dynamic banter about how like he got in a bar fight there before and broke the jukebox. You know what I mean? You know, so it's
I said I've had genuine fun reading that the issues. I got, you know what I have that I just got into and I'm looking forward to reading. And I know you know him and you've been on there. And my buddy James Milne, Love Pigeon, did the cover for it. I'm going to be reviewing it. I got all the covers. I
Call me
actually
Mark. Yeah.
got, from Mark. Yeah. And James did that cover. I actually got one of the sketch cards, which is cool. I'm a big, I've become friends with James and always big supporter of him. And he's been on the go moving. And as you see, I got a lot of his original, being a Doomsday Kingdom fan. That's really what got me started. And then I moved on to horror and all of the, kind of putting a whole bunch of different things together. But yeah, there's some. I'm looking forward to reading it. I wanted to read it last weekend, but as you know, time just does not work all the time.
I know.
I don't want to rush through reading something and not enjoy. Not say I'm not going to enjoy it, but not be able to really.
I understand fully because sitting down to read is a very time consuming thing. For years and years and years, I didn't actually read. I still don't read for pleasure. I mean, except like I forced myself to read my friends' comic books because I support their campaigns. You know what I mean? And like, their comic books come in the mail, and I still have a stack of. I mean, I've bought well over 100 books. I still have a stack I haven't taken out of the mailers yet because you know what I mean. Just like protecting them until I can get to reading them.
I still got Black and White to read by Artie Bear.
Yeah. Art is.
I ran into it today. It's like I haven't even read this yet, and I wanted to. It's no, but
Art has got some skills. He knows comic book industry, how comic books work, not just like how to draw, how to storytell in images, but like actually why stories work and all that kind of stuff. He's very, very, very smart. He him and I have talked about, and I can't say too much because I don't think he'd want me to, but we have talked about possibly me writing something with him on one of his future projects. I can't say what or when or how because that's not my say. You know what I mean? But that I genuinely like Art as a person. I've hung out on his stream a few times. I genuinely like him as a person, and like. He is super, super, super cool. And it would be really fun to work with him on a project. You know what I mean? I love to write. I love to write. Yeah. It's like one of the few things that I feel like I could sit down and do. You know what I mean? I spent years as a songwriter. Then I wrote a bunch of short stories when I was young, you know what I mean? And they didn't really do anything, but I ended up twisting them into something else later. And then I now write screenplays, comic books. I actually have a couple of almost, I can't say, I say for lack of a better description, philosophy-based books that I'm trying to like put together. They're going to take years to finish writing. And then, I have the new series. So it's like, I'm just, right. And so like when I read
a buffet of stuff that it's going to be tough to get through that plate. I'll get it done. And
then so like for years, like someday, like maybe we'll be laughing about this like 5 years from now. You know what I mean? And we'll be talking about how like, yeah, you remember when you came on my stream that first time and we're talking about Captain Love, and then you revealed to me that you actually wrote a whole bunch of other crap.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool, man. I'm glad to learn it and know it because, I mean, you promoted Captain Love usually on every stream, and I think it's because it fit what the other streams were, whether it was on with Mark or Artie Bear or Art T-Bert. Why can't I say his name? I know I'm stuttering, but Art, yeah, he's I've watched his streams a few times. It's been a while since I've seen some of them. I get a lot of my notifications get lost in the stream,
yeah, you know what? YouTube's really bad at notifying people in some kind of practical way.
Yeah,
they don't even follow like some stupid greedy algorithm. They just half-ass it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but have you noticed YouTube has changed? People haven't really been talking about this much, but YouTube has recently put ads on videos and then people don't make money for it, right? So
Yeah.
they're just dumping ads on everybody's videos now. That has changed the whole flavor of YouTube. And in fact, it has made overall YouTube video watching drop. The only
It
people
seems
that
like YouTube now wants to do shorts. Like they want everything to be almost like a TikTok short or something like that.
well, TikTok. Okay, so the reason why they're doing that is because TikTok moved into #1 as the most viewed. But here's the thing that people don't realize, or they don't want to talk about, or they don't want to admit. Okay, most of what's on TikTok, like 80+%, is young girls shaking their butts and boobs.
The same thing too, and the same songs with it. They just always wind up popping up. Even Facebook does it now.
Yeah, they just do the same thing somebody else is doing, whether it's a challenge or whatever. They try to make some kind of excuse, but that's not why people are watching the videos. It's a bunch of freaking thirsty dudes sitting there watching titties jiggle. You know what I mean? Because they can get away with it. You know.
I mean, I don't know. It's just different now. Like maybe because I'm getting older. It's like, oh man. And it's just.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of old dudes doing it too, but I think the old dudes that are doing it are probably like creeping on the young girls.
Like I can't even see like even when I was younger, it almost get kind of stale, and you know, it's like, oh man, you know, it's okay. You're a good-looking girl and you're doing this, but obviously you're not the type of girl. Even if you knew it, like I'd hate a girlfriend that TikToked all the time and doing those things, you know, because you know all they're doing is getting attention, and that's the attention they want. It's not really insecurity. It's just like I don't want my girlfriend doing that, and a lot of the girls do it. And I don't know.
Well,
to me,
the thing
I don't want to say anything bad, but it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I like it. Like
I understand where you're going with that. I mean, the truth of the matter is that it is a bit degrading. They're kind of selling themselves short. They are doing what, okay, we grew up in an era in the 70s and the early 80s where like now they're like trying to do it like a screamy, angry version of what we had back then, which was you know, everybody do your thing. You know what I mean? You be you, I'll be me. You know, like women are you know, we are respected as they're equal to men now. Let's treat them as such. You know, all that kind of stuff was a different approach. They didn't have to scream, "Give us our equality!" You know, it's like we gave you your equality. Here, enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's what I enjoy about Captain Love. I got to say that is it gives the '80s vibe, and it does it in such a well done way, not like a TikTok way. Certain things, but it's a very '80s way and done very well. I don't know. It's a lot. I hope people check it out here. Have you ever considered like because I know how tough this can be, and I know how a lot of you guys are like digital, you know, but because the shipping's that kind of outrageous, you know, selling digital copies just for the ones overseas that maybe can't watch it. You know,
I've considered it. I have considered it, and this is where I stand on it. Okay, I feel as though when I get to like way down the road, you know what I mean, that I may do some kind of digital release, right? Right now, I want to have people to thirst for the physical copies, and I want to move these floppies because see, here's the thing: selling these books as chapters helps me pay to complete the whole thing because I put the money out first, right, and then I need to pay for the printing and the shipping. And then whatever's left comes back to pay me back for the money I put out first. And, you know, and so it's like I need to make a lot more on these campaigns to keep so I'm not going upside down all the time. I still, big picture, I've spent more money on Captain Love than I've made.
Oh, I can believe it. Yeah. I can believe it. And it definitely, I think you're right to do it because it is such a good book that if more people just got a chance to read it and put their hands on it, they're gonna want to support it because you're giving a great price on it. You're putting a lot of hard work into it. It's thought out. It's not just and like I said, I don't want to like knock any other books that I've read or anything like that. But this one probably that I've supported, that other than Doomsday Kingdom, that's got great story and depth in writing, and I know how hard it's been for them. This was the one book that I supported that I was like, wow, so fun. I haven't read Not Daredevil yet, but I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Mark's a fun guy. You're probably going to enjoy Not
He
Daredevil.
is. I invited him to come on. Hopefully after I read this and I do a review, see if I can get him on and the artist James Milne, who did, this cover that I was showing you.
Yeah, that's
it's
cool though.
pretty glary, but yeah. I think it's a really cool. I mean, he's got some really cool covers. He did some variants, and I like them all. I mean, it might be a little biased, but that one was my favorite of them all. There's a couple other ones that are right up there though too. But yeah, he said he'd come on. That'd be a fun one because he, like you said, he's definitely an interesting character.
Yeah,
he's got a persona.
I've been on a handful of streams. Well, actually, quite a few streams with Mark over the last few
years.
I've
seen you on there before.
Yeah, and he's a lot more fun when he's drunk, but he's definitely an eccentric fellow. So
yeah, he's definitely a character. I enjoy it. I mean, he's an interesting person. I look forward to talking to him to find out a little bit more about him. That
it's you need him on right now more than anything because you got to get his opinion on this whole Russia versus Ukraine thing.
God, I don't even know if I want to get involved in that.
You got to dive into that with Commie Mark.
I try to stay away from politics like it's the plague, just because of the way how volatile and vile it is now. I could see him, especially like you said, if he's drinking. He's like a living troll in his own way. And it's entertaining, but if you like, even from the little bit I know, I get it's his whole character and everything, but he feeds off it and it's funny. Yeah. It's definitely funny.
He's hilarious. I mean,
yeah,
it's again here's that's one thing about this community is that there's a lot of people with a lot of skills and a lot of talents, and we're all just undiscovered.
Yeah. There is definitely some talent out there. There's some really, really talented artists out there, in the community. I'm excited about. Actually, I had a guy. He's not. If I can find it, I don't know where I put it, but wait, I do. Is a guy that I had do some work, and I don't think he's doing any comic books right now, but he's Star Wars Jedi and more. A guy named Johan. I got to do a review on his stuff. He does some really cool art. Comic art, and he does it all by hand. So yeah, I got to get him on soon too. I actually sent the link to Mark to show him his art. I didn't hear back, but like maybe there's somebody out there in the Comicsgate community that could use an artist. I always try to help anybody out.
There's quite a few. The downside is that art, right, like a lot of artists are expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some when they get like good at what they do, they get like egos.
Yeah, the ego can get. There's no matter what the community is, the egos can go. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And I think I can understand where it comes from, but sometimes you got to get a grip on yourself and go. I got to remember my roots and where I started from. And
yeah, because I could if I could afford it. Right. I actually have another 3 or 4 completely new comic series that I want to do. Like actually one of them is a one-off book that I want to do, all comics, and it's actually going to be a super huge thing. It actually might be like 2 or 3 volumes because of the size of the actual story. And then there's another one that I want to do that is super fun. Very tongue-in-cheek, makes fun of SJWs. You know what I mean?
I love it.
But I you know what I mean? It's the kind of thing that I know that wouldn't be worth putting the money up front to do because it wouldn't get the return. You know what I mean? So it'd be something that, okay, let's do this for fun, and then whatever we make, we'll split, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I haven't been able to find an artist to do that.
Writer and flesh things out, but I could see that SJW narrative being kind of funny, or even just a little bit of both sides.
I'll tell you what the narrative on the SJW one is. It's not a total secret. I've mentioned it before in a live stream. The SJW bashing story is, I want to call it, it's a superhero story, a duo team. The feminazi and the soy boy.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I'm
they're like
sure it'd be a good one, man. Your
oh,
comedy is very good. Even the comedy you
it
put.
would be hilarious because they would have that whole, you know, like you're sexist and all that kind of stuff, but she's gonna be, you know, she's gonna be like, you know, trying to milk the attention that she gets, you know, when she does stuff wrong. I mean, it's like the first story that I would tell would be like them going to a strip bar to try and like stop the show, right? But the soy boy being all like drooly over all the strippers, and then the feminazi getting up on stage with the other strippers and them getting her to dance. You know?
Oh, I'm sure you'd piss off a lot of people, but it'd be funny.
It would be hilarious. It would be so, and it would be, and it would just be. Oh, I, I, I would have so much fun writing it, and I'm sure a good artist would have so much fun drawing it. It would be a gas, and it would probably do good. I mean, it would probably make a few grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, I got to find an illustrator who is reliable enough and willing to draw that story without being paid up front, and not getting his money until the return of the campaign. And a story like that, I would split it. You know, basically percentage wise. So
I actually got a Doomsday's Krypt guy that I've made him the exclusive artist for Doomsday's Krypt. I'll show you some of the art that I know from people. If there's somebody you're looking for to do stuff that are eager and new, that are talented though.
yeah.
So we'll definitely talk more off screen about some things, because I think there's definitely things that would be a lot of fun to discuss that can't really do it on stream, because you never know, you don't, but just sit there and have a conversation.
Yeah, that's the problem with doing something on stream, is if you let an idea smolder for too long and you set it on stream, someone's going to steal it from you.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, man, I thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast. We'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah, definitely. Just let me know. And I mean, you know, like I said, like when we were working this out, there's, you know, I have holes in my schedule where I can set some time aside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like today, like Wednesdays are not always good, and you know what I mean. But sometimes Wednesday, like if I don't have a business meeting, like I would say like half my Wednesdays, if not a little bit more than half my Wednesdays, I have dinner meetings that I have to go, and I'm meeting because I have a nonprofit. You know what I mean? Like an actual media ministry that I have been trying to. It's like, you know, I mean, it's a full-fledged thing. I could take donations and give tax write-offs, all that whole thing. But I have been trying to raise large-scale money for it for about for a while now. And so I end up having these dinner meetings with people that, like, they're either giving me advice on how to approach these wealthy people, or they're trying to, you know, get me into the position where I can, you know, meet with these wealthy people, you know what I mean? Or they're going to, you know, network with wealthy people for me. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm just, and Wednesday is like the only night I can usually meet with them, because Tuesday night I'm shooting the show and Thursday night I have a class. You know what I mean? So, and nobody wants to do anything on Monday or Wednesday, on Friday. You know, it's like
you got a bunch of 5 kittens to feed too.
Yeah, and now I can't even be out of the house for more than 2 hours at a time.
Now you got to be Drew Dad, cat dad.
Yep, I'm gonna be cat daddy.
Well, good luck with everything, dude. We're gonna keep in touch and talk, and I'm glad I got to know a little bit more about you and discuss everything going on. I want to thank the chat. Chad, thank you for being here. Yes, and Chad, I agree with that. That's why I'm trying to be very careful, because a lot of what I do is on Facebook, and I'm happy to stream. I love you, Facebook. I appreciate you letting me stream here. Sabuana, thank you for being here. Chris Callie, everybody who's been here, thank you. The support, the continued support, much appreciated. Thank you again, Mr. Drew, Eash.
Yes,
Right?
You pronounced it right. You pronounced it right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Everybody gets it wrong. It's pronounced as if it was spelled ISH, and you nailed it.
All right. Well, hey, man, I can be right every once in a while. Not very often am I right, but I was right for once. Yeah. Thanks again, dude. Best of luck with Captain Love. Guys, check it out on Indiegogo. Until next time, take care. Peace.